Yo, what's up? Today I'll be going to climbing and it's just a regular day. I just want to show you what my sessions look like. And today I'll probably be trying a V12 with one of my friends. So yeah, I think it's gonna be exciting. So I'm gonna try to show you my warm-ups, how I try hard, and just anything else I do in my session. So let's go to the climbing gym. So before my session, I have the Dragos, the Andrescalades, and I also have the 510s high angles for board climbing. So 3 pairs of shoes for any style of bouldering I want to do. By the way, at my gym, we can see on each locker there's a name of a pro athlete, so I just think it's kind of cool. So, right before starting my session, I had to tape 2 fingers because they were about to bleed. So it was more to prevent wasting skin on some easier climbs and then taking it off when I'm trying my project. So, for my warm-up, unlike people think, I do actually warm up on very easy climbs. I usually start with V0s and then go up, so V1, V2, V3, V4, V5, V6, V7, and I usually stop at V8 because afterwards it just wastes some of my strength and I want to keep it for my projects. But I do start with easier climbs, and I would say that it's mostly to, yes, get my body warm, but to also prevent some injuries. And the reason why is because I injured myself too much. I have pretty much an injury on every single part of my body. Most of them are gone, but it's kind of sad because it's really when you get injured that you understand that you want to warm up more to prevent getting injured afterwards. So, for example, if you have a pulley injury and then you go months without climbing or doing rehab, then when you go back to climbing, of course you're gonna warm up a lot more on crimps, let's say on some hangboards, or a lot of crimps on some easier boulders, because you've injured yourself already. So yeah, it's just kind of sad that you gotta injure yourself to know how to warm up. So in my case, it's pretty much exactly that. I did get some injuries on my shoulders, so now I stretch them and I try to do some shouldery moves on some easier climbs. For my fingers, I try to do some crimps on, let's say, some V5s that are really crimpy. And also, I think it's really important to warm up for heel hooks because I can feel that my hamstring is really pulling when I'm not warmed up. So just a bunch of warm-ups on some easier climbs. I do want to work out the moves that can be dangerous for my previous injuries. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I want to get warmed and I want to not have injuries, of course. So I take my time. I think I do about 30 minutes of warm-up each session now. It used to be like 5-6 minutes, but yeah, times have changed. I'm old now and I gotta be more careful. So that's definitely something that has changed over the years. I started at 17 years old, and I think back in the day I was really having more energy at the start of my session, but with time you learn. So yeah, after that boulder I was pretty warmed up, and I also tried this weird boulder that I'll just let you watch what I did.
Wow, ouais. C'est grand, hein? Ça fait ce qui est grand, ça là-dessus. Ça fait des V12, des V13, ça c'est à la c'est une V8.
Oh yeah, some classic indoor bouldering. At first I was like, what the f is this? The boulder was just looking weird and I didn't want to try it at first. And then my friends started trying it and I was like, alright, let's just do it. And it ended up being pretty fun. Just climbing some weird shapes, some big balls, some huge circles. I don't know, there's something to it. Oh, and we can't see it from here, but there's a hole in that circle that my friend could not see earlier, so I was just trolling him. So, after the first weird section, I go into these 2 weird looking balls, and it's actually pretty hard, like pretty physically demanding on the shoulder. The ending is fine, but man, what a weird boulder, but I don't regret doing it. It was kind of fun. You know, you gotta give it to the route setters. I dare you to find a boulder like this outdoors.
Les power screen. Ah, il y a une prise, là, il y a une prise. Oh! Ouais! Oh, oh! Ah. Alors, t'es confo combien sur 10?
Genre. Man.
Alright, let's get into real business now. For today's session, we really wanted to try this V12, and for now I'm just showing you the holds. They're not too bad, but the angle is around 50 degrees, so this boulder is actually super physical. And to be honest, the first section wasn't too bad until this weird scoop. Then you have the hardest move around V10, and the last section I found it personally not too bad. So here's my first attempt of the day. I'm gonna try to do a boulder breakdown for you to understand how difficult this boulder is. The beginning section is around V9, and this move, it's pretty hard to aim it. I sometimes took it too much on the left or the right side, and right here, going left and again on that scoop was the first crux for me. So just to give you an idea, it took me 4 sessions to really understand that move and know every single micro beta to get the perfect position to get into that move. So yes, that move was pretty hard, and it was really not even the crux of the boulder yet. By the way, this is my friend Emil, and he's really the reason why we're trying this boulder. Since the previous day, he just said, "Yo, wanna try that V12?" And I was like, hell yeah! So we just went ahead and mostly tried the V12 for this session. Anyways, back to this section. After I get the move, I have to match this scoop, and after the match, I have to go on this pinch, and it's so bad. It's so bad. I can't even begin to explain how bad it is, and you have to jump from that. So as you can probably guess, that is the crux of this boulder. So let me introduce a complete monster that's gonna be joining me in this session. This guy is called Francis Bilodeau. He used to be a full-time competition athlete in Montreal. I think getting really close to World Cups, and he's definitely one of the strongest dudes I've ever met. So it's really cool when I climb with him because I can just see how strong he is. So right here, he's trying the last section of this boulder, so right after the crux, and it's also very delicate. You can see that these holds are super bad, and then we couldn't really understand at first how to do this second to last move, because the hold is not really great and we have to be there in control. So what we did find out afterwards is that there's a knee bar on the volume on the left. And although it does take out some skin out of the knee, it really just sticks together, and after a couple of attempts I understood how to do the move, and it's just very, very delicate, but once I take the second to last hold, I can do the ending. But yeah, it's not even close to being as hard as the crux move. At this point, Francis did every single move, and he was confident that he could try this from the start and eventually send the boulder. And I just thought he was crazy to try this from the start when he only got the moves once. So his endurance is just out of this world, because linking this all in one session is just impossible for me.
Nice, come on, come on. Allez, talons. Allez, allez, allez. Allez, Francis, come on. Oh, la, 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 la.
Unfortunately, right after he finished the boulder, he said that he dabbed on the jug and it actually helped him. So you know what he did? He just sent the boulder again. I'm not even kidding, he just completely destroyed this boulder a second time, and this time it was no dabs since we asked the route setter to just take out the jug. So, me being an ambitious guy, I decided to try it from the start since he just sent it, and it looked incredibly easy, so I was like, yeah, this looks pretty doable, but reality just clapped my face and said, nope, you're not doing this. And that day, I was feeling pretty strong, but it's pretty cool that even on some strong days, there's always some stronger people that can humble you, and I just think it's encouraging having this many strong climbers at my gyms. I can always have motivation to get even stronger. And it's funny because some people think that I'm the strongest in the gym and that eventually I would just get bored of not having any climbs or somebody that can challenge me, but they're so wrong. There's so many strong climbers, and every time the route setters are putting up some V12, V13s in the gym, so I can actually never clear a gym. And that's really cool. The other way around would just be boring, having done every single boulder and not having anybody strong to climb with. So anyways, at this point into my session, I just admitted that I was cooked for this V12 and I went ahead to try something else. But I did send a boulder. After 4 sessions, I did this boulder, but it just means that Francis is 4 times stronger than me, right? Anyways, when I was saying that it took me 4 sessions to get the match of this scoop, it was 4 sessions to get it perfectly, to have enough energy to do this crux move, that by the way was really limit, and yeah, the matching of the scoop was really the key to getting the energy I just needed for the crux. And then this last section, I did work it out pretty good on my first session with Francis, and fortunately I did not fall and I executed like I planned before, so yeah, the ending was not an issue, but man, the crux was hard. So with this project finally done, let's go back to the original session. Right after that V12 boulder, we went ahead and tried this V10, and it was a huge dyno. As you can see, after doing the starting position, we have to go on this huge jug and rotate into the next 2 holds, and I was really surprised to flash this move, because I'm usually really terrible at coordination moves, and this next section, I thought it was possible to flash it too, but it was very tricky, and the holds were not as good as I thought, because they were a bit flat, and I was confused on the beta. By the way, we were not supposed to take the left hand, that crimp we see, so it was a better break that we did. So they changed the hold afterwards, and some people were sad that it was not a crimp anymore. Anyways, at this point I was really tryharding and I was getting a little pumped, so I just tried to match the hold, but like I said, it was pretty flat and I couldn't really find a good position to go statically and then go to the last hold. So it was definitely a tricky section that I thought would be easy when I was looking at it from the ground, but it ended up being pretty tricky. Also, Francis had to cut loose on this move, which was really impressive. And then he also had a hard time matching this sloper because it's just kind of a weird position and you don't want to rush going into the last hold. So, on my 3rd attempt, I was doing this dyno again with no problem, and I figured out that the ending, I just had to do this kind of a drop knee with my right leg, and I was just a little scared because, as I said at the beginning of the video, I did injure my knee and it was just a bit tweaky, so yeah, I just had to be careful, and I ended up just not really drop kneeing too much. So of course, right after me, Francis just exploded this dyno, and then the next section, he also figured out his beta, and he was not doing the same thing as me, because as you see, he's using the crimp as the foothold, and yeah, the last move looked pretty easy for him. So since we both did this boulder, we went ahead and tried a harder boulder that is honestly just impossible for me. These holds have almost nothing into them, and then you have to one arm on this pocket with 2 fingers and rotate 360 into these slopers with no friction. So of course Francis was like, yeah, this looks cool, let's do it. So I just followed him. But this honestly is probably one of my most anti-styles that there is in indoor bouldering, because I'm really bad when it comes to dual text, and this boulder was full of dual text. As you can see, these holes are just shiny, there's not much into them, and the moves are incredibly hard too, so it was just a lose-lose situation for me. Anyways, enough complaining. This move is really cool. Even though I suck at it, I really wanted to get this move because you have to go like 180 into this pocket and then let go of your feet and then just hold on into these 2 fingers. So I was like, okay, I need to lock in and just commit to this cut loose, and boom, I thought it was the whole 360, but it ended up not being that at all because it was a huge lock off. So I just stopped into this and then placed my 2 fingers well and big lock off into some absolute dual text, and then a hold that has some friction on it. So cool move, but I suck at it. Honestly, I'm terrible with these holds, and it was fun to try it at least. But yeah, it's just not for me, man. I'm too old. I need to retire from climbing. Anyways, Francis is like destroying these moves, and he's just making this look like good holds, and they're so bad. Some of them are 100% dual text, and he also told me that the ending was not even the crux. This first move was the crux, so him doing the first move and then following this next section with the cut loose on 2 fingers and then big lock off is just it's cool to watch, honestly. It's a cool boulder, it's a nice competition style, so I really appreciate like watching people climb this one. but I'm just not made for that, honestly. This is the proof that I need to climb outside more. This is more of my style. Some crimps, some lockups. I'm just terrible at dual takes. I do understand that some people hate dual takes, and I take their side because sometimes it goes too far. I'm just weak. The hold on the right side that you see right now has like 1 or 2 fingers that you can fit in. This left one that I have is 100% dual takes, and the last one I couldn't even grab it too well because the position was just too weird. But Francis is gonna do a demonstration. He's holding into this like they're the fattest jug in the world, and then boom, getting the last hold and simply just smashing. So he didn't get it from the ground, but he got some really good links, and I don't know if he tried it again, but yeah, he definitely made some really good progress in only one session. In a couple of minutes, actually, not even a full session. So at this point, he called it a day, and I was continuing on some intermediate boulders. So I was trying this V9, and this is in the steep part of the gym, so I'm guessing 50 to 55 degrees angle, and this boulder looked really cool, so I wanted to get on it. And I'm not usually the best at toe hooks, and I knew there was gonna be a toe hook sequence here, but it was really good, and also with the dragos, it was no problem at all. And the crux move is actually getting the left toe hook out right here. So the holds are not great, and that's why it was just a bit hard to you know, hold the tension. But after that, it was fine. So I think this was a really cool V9, like perfect for the grade. Not too hard, not too soft, and just enough to trickiness. So really cool one. And I moved on to this V10 that's in the other steep part of the gym. This is for sure 50 degrees last time I checked. So this V10 is also full of toe hooks, some pinches, and pretty good holds. So I think it's kind of on the easier side of V10. I know a couple of people told me that this didn't feel like a V10, but I was pretty much at the end of my session, so every move was feeling pretty hard. But it just might be a soft one, I'm not too sure. It definitely demands some physical strength, because the angle is pretty steep, the holds are not great, so you have to hold the toe hooks really well. And the boulder is pretty long, so you just gotta make sure that you're being efficient on every single move to not waste any energy. But anyways, at this point, I knew my beta. I had to put this left heel hook and then boom into this good crimp. And the crimp was really good, I'm not kidding, it was like a crimp that you could see on a V4. But it's in the steep wall, so you know, it just makes sense that after the hard first couple of moves you get this good crimp, and then the last section you just kind of have to keep it together and have some energy to finish this off. But yeah, like I said, pretty easy, so happy with this one, but I can see how people think this can be an easy V10. So finally, the last boulder that I did on my session is this big coordination on this V8. That was really cool. So yeah, I just wanted to finish it off with a cool dyno. I was also gonna do a comp soon, so I really wanted to practice my dynos. So my flow was feeling pretty good. I was happy to end up my session with this boulder. Alright, so it wasn't a full tryhard session. I did stay like 4 hours and a half, but you know, I didn't try like super hard boulders all the way in. Tried some intermediate boulders like V9s. I would say V10s is also not like my limit boulder, but still a really cool session. I was trying some boulders with some really strong guys, so yeah, really cool. Also met some people that knew my channel, like just in the locker room. I was just like changing and they're like, yo, your channel is really cool. And yeah, they were just telling me like they love these videos where I try super hard boulders. So, you know, I always appreciate when people tell me my videos are cool. So if you actually do enjoy my videos, don't forget to tell me in the comments. And it just motivates me to do more videos. If you have any other YouTube idea you want me to do, don't forget to also put them in the comments. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.